Hey everyone, welcome back to week 2, day 2 of our Fit for 5K strength training. The equipment you're going to need this week is some form of object that you can put your rear foot up against, like so. You can use a chair, that's usually a perfect height. If you have one, you should have a chair, hopefully. Next thing we're going to need is a little bit of resistance, so whatever you used last week, if you can find another household item or another weight where you can increase. If not, using that same weight is also fine. So go ahead and take about 5 to 10 minutes to roll out some soft tissue, whatever's feeling sore this week. I always recommend your tibialis anterior, so right next to your shin, your calves, your glutes, quads, hamstrings, and especially your back too. So we still want to keep all our postural muscles happy with the amount of running that we're doing in this training program. So go ahead and pause here and I'll see you in the warm-up. All right, so our warm-up, we're gonna start with a beast activation, and what that looks like is you're gonna place your hands and toes on the floor, and we're just gonna alternate picking our opposite hand and foot off the ground, like so. Just an inch, get that hold. Try not to switch sides too much with your hips. We're gonna get 10 more each side. And rest. All right, so we're gonna go right into our shin box now. So if you haven't watched one of my videos before, you're gonna line up your shin, so your knee and your ankle are parallel with your shoulders, and then there's a good gap between my heel and knee. I'm gonna shift my hips forward, and I'm just gonna lean my shoulders over and lean back. And I'm gonna get 5 of these. That's 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's switch sides. This side is definitely my tight side, so I gotta work a little bit harder getting my hips shifted forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Next thing we're gonna do in our warm-up, if you guys have anything to elevate your heels, you can definitely use this in this exercise. We're doing a cook squat progression. So I'm gonna be barefoot for this pretty much whole workout. I'm gonna get my squat stance a little bit wider. I'm gonna start with my hands overhead. Gonna just lower my hips as much as I can, bring my hands down. I'm now gonna pull on my toes to try to get my hips down a little bit further. I'm gonna reach up to my right, grab my right toe, reach my left up to the left, bring my hands up and stand up. We're gonna do 4 more of those. Down. Each time, try to see if you can get your hips down just a little bit lower. If you're really struggling with that, what I like to do is just elevate my heels a little bit so I can get into a more comfortable squat position, because ideally I still do want to keep my chest up so I can get some quality rotations in here. That's 3. 4, last one. And 5. All right, I'm gonna move that out of the way. Let's do some ankle rocks. So I'm in my half kneeling position. I'm just gonna drive that knee, good ankle pop, over my toes, keeping my heel planted on the ground. Let's do 6 each side. 4, 5, Last one. 6. All right, switching sides, getting in that half kneel position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, standing up, we're gonna do some figure 4 stretches. So I'm gonna bring my shin across my thigh, and I'm just gonna reach out in front of me and squat down as much as I can and back up. We're gonna get 5 each side here. Challenge yourself each repetition you get, see if you can get a little bit lower. 3, 4, and 5. All right, switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and shake it out. Let's do some hamstring sweeps. So we've definitely done this in our videos before. So you're gonna start and you're alternating, cupping, bringing one toe up. You're gonna swoop and lift your hands up towards the ceiling. We're just gonna get 20 total. I think that's halfway. And 20. All right, we're bringing it back down to the ground. We're gonna do some shoulder taps, so we're getting in our plank position. We're slowly gonna get 8 each side. Oop, lost the light, got it back. So I'm in my push-up position, and I wanna control the speed here. And rest. All right, so our last drill, just to kind of wake ourselves up a little bit, is we're gonna do some upright, some kneeling to a squat jump. So these are the 2 parts. I don't know how well I could do it talking, but what you're gonna do is get from this position up to the bottom of the squat position, and then from there, as quickly as you can, jump up. We're gonna attempt 5 of these. So this is what it should look like. And back down. And then try not to jump forward like on that one I just did. See how well you can plant with your feet and drive up. There you go. I think that was 3. And last one. All right, we're ready. Okay, so for this first block, we've got 3 exercises, 4 rounds. Last week, we did our single leg 90-degree hop, stick, and return. We also did our heels elevated goblet squats, as well as our low split rotations. We did 4 each side. This week, we're gonna move into a continuous movement on our 90-degree hop. Now we're just going to rebound back to our starting position. Second exercise, we're moving into some RFE squats. So that's gonna be rear foot elevated, which is why I've got my cooler out. If you have your chair or whatever you're using at this point, you can grab that now. We're gonna go eccentric, 5 each side. And then the third exercise is we're gonna do our low split rotations, but now we're cranking it up to 6 each side. So here we go. The first exercise I've got, we're gonna do our 90-degree single leg hop to return. So last week, hopefully I'm not gonna kick my cooler. So last week, we went to the left and returned to the right on our left foot. And that would look like this. I'm gonna switch my arms really quick. So remember, we've got our base position, we've got our knee as our shock absorber, so it's bent, we're ready to go. What we did was we jumped here, stuck the landing, and returned. This week, what we're gonna do, 3 each side still, but now the goal here is we're gonna rebound back. So there's no more waiting. So here, load, explode, bring it back. I'm gonna do another example because that was poor. Okay, so knee shock absorber, load. There we go. Okay, I had to stop talking to get that to work. It's very difficult. Okay, so remember, you still want to stick the landing like you're a shock absorber here, but now how fast can we push back through the ground to get yourself in this original position? So 3 each side. We'll go ahead and start on the left-hand side. Load. That's 1. And you can always reset at the end. Don't feel like you have to take off from your stick position. And remember, you can always get that little jab if you feel like you're floating around too much and just need to catch yourself, then stick your foot out, no worries. Second rep. All right, switching over to our right leg, load and explode. Whoop, gotta get the light back on. Ooh, get that jab, reset. All right, same thing. Not the most beautiful. Some of you could be really good at that, but that's what we've progressed into. All right, so our second exercise, we're moving into our rear foot elevated eccentric split squats. So I'm just gonna use my med ball. And you can either hold it here or overhead. I'm just gonna hold it to my chest. When you set up for the rear foot elevated squat, you wanna make sure that you're stepping out far enough so that you can still get in a good 90-degree squat position. So I'm gonna move up a little bit. We don't need to be super upright here because just think if you're taking off at a sprint, would you be in this position or would you be more loaded here? So it's okay to bring your shoulders a little bit forward as long as we're still driving through our glutes and our quads to get ourselves back up. So if you're too close to the cooler, you'll notice, or your step, you're kind of just sitting back into it. Too far away, you're gonna feel more of a stretch on the opposite leg. So kind of finding that happy medium before getting into it or any sort of load. You just wanna make sure that you can get up and down, pain-free, no issues with the technique before you start loading any sort of weight on this exercise. So we've got 5 each side, eccentric. So we're gonna go down at a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna scoot out a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I didn't even start counting. One more for good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch sides. If you know how many reps you're doing, keep doing you, getting your counts in. That's awesome. Switching sides. 5 count down, 5 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. We got 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third exercise, we're just gonna get right into it. It's our low split with rotation. So remember, setting up for this, you wanna be in your half kneeling position. You're gonna point your toe down towards on the floor. Front foot is loaded on the ground as well. You're just gonna lift your knee just off the ground. If you want a little bit more challenge, then line up your heel with your knee a little bit more. If you need more stability, then just set them off a little bit. So we've got 6 each side this week. And then remember, you want to start at the back pocket of the opposite side from the front leg. So you're basically getting out of the way of your knee each time you lift up and across. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Switching sides. Make sure I'm still in frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are the 3 exercises for the first block. You've got 3 more rounds, so you can go ahead and pause here, and I'll see you in the next block. All right, so for this block, we've got our 3 exercises, which are gonna be our beast activation, our push-up hold, as well as our calf raises. These are all the same exercises we did last week, but now we're increasing everything to 30 seconds, and our calf raises are going from 8 to 12 each side. So I've got my 25-pound plate here. This is what I used last week. I'm just gonna keep it the same because we are increasing the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for that. Make sure you're always starting in your tabletop position, and we're gonna go for 30 seconds. Ready, and we're going. Three, 2, 1, and rest. All right. So I'm just gonna move this off to the side. We'll need that later for the calf raises. And we're gonna get into our push-up hold. So we're at 30 seconds this week. So go ahead and shake it off. We'll get right into it. Move this out of the way. There we go. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and down. Am I still on the screen? Okay. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. I'm not even gonna try to push myself back up after that one. Definitely feeling it in the arms today. So our third exercise is gonna be our calf raises. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my plate back out here. So I'm in the screen. Don't have my mechanic stand nearby. Actually, it's right there. But I've also got a broomstick, so I'm gonna use that as my stability. So I at least have something to hang on to. I'm putting my midfoot on the plate here so I can get the most dip in my heel and then squeeze to the top. So we're gonna go ahead and get 12 reps here. So the goal, try not to let yourself drop to the bottom and bounce yourself up. You don't want your hips to be your momentum. Really see if you can make your calf muscles fire all 12 reps. They might start lighting up halfway through. But the goal here is to get that endurance of these muscles up. All right, here we go. sides. Two more. And then feel that squeeze at the top. Whoa. All right, those are your 3 exercises. You've got 4 total rounds. With the calf raises, if you want to add weight, if you can somehow hold on to a weight as you do it, or if you have a weight vest, anything like that, if you want to add a load in this exercise, that's totally fine too, as long as you're getting 12 quality repetitions, still trying to get yourself all the way up and not resting at the bottom too much. So go ahead and pause here and I'll see you in the next block. This week, we've got our 3 exercises, 4 rounds in our last block, pretty standard. The 3 exercises we had last week were our Russian twists, our glute bridge march, as well as our single leg RDL. This week, whoop, there goes light. We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do some reverse crunches, 10 repetitions. We're also gonna do 20-second glute bridge holds, single leg, each side. So each side per round. And then the last thing we're gonna do is some eccentric single leg RDL. So let's get started. So to do the reverse crunches, what you wanna do is make sure if you're wearing pants that they're not in the way. So to start here, I'm laying on my back. You can either put your hands under your hips just to support you a little bit more, or you can have them out to the side. So just like a crunch, as you bring your shoulders forward, now we're gonna do the same thing with our knees. So staying flat on the ground, you're just gonna lift your knees up and then slowly bring them back down. So you ideally just wanna feel your spine lifting up and then slowly placing themselves on the ground. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. All right. So for those, you can even make your feet a little bit straighter. So the further out your heels get from your hips, you might feel a little bit more resistance in your stomach. So the second exercise we're gonna do now is a 20-second single leg glute bridge hold on each side. So we're back on the ground here, and we're just gonna lift one leg up, drive through the other one to keep our hips up, and we're gonna hold for 20. The goal is to stay engaged the whole time. 8, 9, 10, that's halfway. Keep focusing on your form. Don't let yourself switch to the other side. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, my left leg's up, driving through the right. That's halfway. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, just make sure you get both sides before the next set. It's not just alternating each set, it's right and left each round. So the third exercise we've got is our single leg eccentric RDLs. So last week I used my 12-pound ball. I'm gonna up my intensity a little bit and use this guy. So I'm gonna shift my weight onto my left-hand side. If you're just joining us this week, single leg ideally, starting with no weight. If you reach your hands up and just hinge like you're pushing your hands away from your heels, stopping when your chest is parallel to the floor, and squeezing that stationary leg glute to get yourself back standing up. Sometimes with balance, our knee starts to bend a lot, but ideally we want to see how well we can hinge and then pull our hips forward to stand up. So just keep that in mind before adding any sort of weight to this exercise, because you can get a lot out of it by just doing it properly. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab this, maybe. So now we're gonna add a 5 count, and we've got 5 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, switching sides. So now I'm shifting all my weight into my right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Woo. So you know what to do. You've got 3 more rounds. Go ahead and pause the video here, and I'll meet you at the cool down. Alright, so 2 stretches that I want to do. The first one, I'm going to get into my half kneeling position. The leg that is bent in front of me, that same side arm, I'm going to grab the back foot, and then I'm slowly just going to bring myself down towards the floor. If you're uncomfortable, you can always put a knee pad on the downside if there's a little bit too much force. I want to try to keep my shoulders back, so I'm going to feel a stretch in my arm as well as my quad, especially if I'm kicking this foot back into my hand. And then as I rock forward, I'm really going to feel this stretch on the inside of my leg. So we're kind of knocking out multiple muscles with this exercise. Oh, there goes the light. So you can spend as much time as you want here. This is a really good stretch. I'm going to go ahead and switch sides and just speeding it up a little bit. And one side will definitely feel a little bit tighter than the other. Whoops, moving it. So it's kind of a mixture of, you can either put more energy into kicking your foot into the hand to feel that quad stretch, or how far are you leaning your shoulders forward to feel that stretch in your calves as well as the insides of your legs here, so especially our hip flexor muscles. The second cool down exercise I want to do is going to be our frog with reach side to side. So I'm sitting on my heels, I've got my knees driven away from each other, and I'm just going to reach forward. For this one, I'm going to walk my hands side to side, sinking that shoulder down towards the ground to feel that all down here. And when you get to the center, you can kind of just push evenly on both sides before transitioning to the opposite side. You want to get 5 each side here. So remember, the further you get to one side, you want to drop that shoulder to feel a stretch here. In the center, you can push both evenly. You might even feel that in your chest. You can kind of give yourself a nice stretch after we did all those push-up holds. So 5 each side, or however many you want. Also, it's a great stretch for the hip flexors. So if you want spend a little bit more time just kind of sitting in that position, that's also great. So that is it for week 2, day 2, Fit for 5K Strength Day. I hope you guys enjoy your tempo running tomorrow and your weekend easy run, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.